Hi everyone, welcome to Girl in the Green Wellies. So last year during lockdown we thought we'd use the time wisely and create a bit of a pond here in Nature Corner. As you can see, it's got loads of tree stumps, it's got rocks around, nice little area for wildlife to be, but somehow over the course of the spring the pond seems to have died a death. So we've come back to the pond today to try and sort it out. It's been going a little bit green, the oxygenating plants have died, and I really want to try and rejuvenate the area to encourage some wildlife and get some oxygen in the pond. So I've never had a pond before, so I don't really know what plants would be best. So what I did is I went online and I found an extra small pack of plants for a pond. So what I'm going to do is just go through what the plants are and what they're for. The first one that we've got is a purple iris, and that will be very similar actually to the iris that we've got there. I was gifted that from an allotment neighbour a couple of years ago. It's one of those plants where I've just put it in and left it, and it's come back year after year, so I'm hoping that the new iris will be exactly the same. We've also got a soft rush. Now the soft rush will be great for giving frogs and newts little areas to hide in. It helps improve the water quality as well. There's a water forget-me-not. Actually I've got two water forget-me-nots, and they'll be really nice for the hoverflies. And there's also a native lily which will float on the top. It's a yellow flower and will look really nice. I've also got some duckweed, which is a vigorous grower. It should help any algae problems. It's another oxygenating plant, so that'll again help anything that does decide to live in the pond. So let's pop down to the potting station and get them in the pots. So we've come up to the potting area to put the pond plants in the baskets. Now the baskets that you get in the pack are different to normal plant pots. They have holes in, obviously, to allow water to come in and out. So if you are planting pond plants, it is important that you have the right baskets. The pack that I've got, like I said, has a couple of different types of plants in. The plants that you get will encourage wildlife, but they also get oxygenating plants as well, just to maintain the healthy balance of your pond. If you don't have oxygenating plants, then the frogs and newts that you want to come to the allotment won't be able to survive, so it is important to have those in there. And what I'm going to do now is just go through potting up one of the plants. So what I've done is I have used the compost provided to put into the pot. Now I've filled it just about 3/4 of the way full, and the compost that you get from the company is a very special mix. So it's a mixture of loam and coir, and that will be heavier than regular compost, so it's not going to bloom in your pond. So what I've done is put that in. Now the one that I'm going to plant is a water forget-me-not. It's a lovely blue flower. It will encourage pollinators to the pond. It will give you really small dainty flowers, and it will flower from May through to September. Now according to the label, it will grow to about 30 centimetres high and it'll spread about 30 centimetres wide, so it is important to bear that in mind when we're putting it in the pond. So let's have a look at the plant itself. It comes really nicely prepared, still nice and moist, and it's got really good root growth on there. So all we're going to do is make a little hole in the top, plant it in there, and then we're just going to top up with some other soil and compost. Easy peasy. If you want any more information about the pond plants that I've got here, I'll put a link in the description section below. So there we are, we've got all the plants potted up in their baskets. We've drained as much water from the pond as we can. Some water, original water, isn't still in there, but we did find a whole load of leaves rotten in the bottom, so we've got rid of those. The next step that we're going to do is top the pond up, and then we're going to sink the baskets. So there we go. We'll let that top up and we'll come back in a few minutes and we'll see how it's getting on. I'm going to start putting the plants into the water now. The first one I'm going to do is this one. It's a starwort. I've been keeping it in water for the last day or so until I've come to the allotment. It was looking really good. I've put it into some compost in one of the baskets. And it's been drying out a little bit, so I'm going to get that in first. Because it's an oxygenating plant, I'm going to put it quite deep. It'll come up to the surface of the water, but that's as much as it'll grow. So I'm going to put this one right in the middle. I think I'm going to need a stick. So the next one I'm going to plant is this one. Although it doesn't look like much at the moment, it will grow nice and tall. This is a soft rush. It'll grow up to about 1 metre high, but I think I'm going to have to keep it in check a little bit. Because it's going to grow quite tall, I'm going to put it at the deepest part of the pond at the back. It'll provide nice habitat for wildlife to live in, and it's also really good for maintaining the cleanliness of the pond, so it should keep the water in really good health. So the last 4 that we've got to go through are left in front of me here. All the pond baskets with the plants are now in the pond. I hope that they've landed the right way, that most of the compost doesn't just float out along the top. I will check back in the next day or 2 just to make sure that the water itself is cleared up, and if I see any plants floating on the surface, I'll try and repot those. Remember, I'd love to hear from you if you've got a pond, or if you've got any hints or tips that I could maybe use going forward. That would be great. If you like the video, don't forget to give us a big thumbs up and subscribe on the link below. Keep tuned, and we'll see how this goes.